The bells of Aurelian Prime had not rung in 23 cycles. Not since the day Princess Lyra vanished beyond the reach, swallowed by the void between stars. The people of the Luminary Empire believed the bells were cursed now, their echoes tied to grief. Queen Seraphel believed something worse, that if they rang again, it would mean hope had returned, and hope was far more dangerous than despair. Seraphel stood alone on the obsidian balcony of the celestial spire, her tall, luminescent form outlined against the glow of the binary suns. Her species did not age as humans did, but grief left its own marks. Where once her light shimmered gold, now it flickered pale blue, dimmed by centuries of regret compressed into decades of mourning. Lyra had been curious, too curious, fascinated by other species, by the raw unpredictability of humans in particular. Against Seraphel's orders, Lyra had joined a diplomatic expedition beyond imperial space. The fleet returned without her, reporting a spatial rupture, an uncharted phenomenon that consumed one vessel whole. Lyra's vessel. No body. No signal. Just silence. The Queen ordered the search to continue until the stars themselves burned out. It never yielded answers. Eventually, the Empire moved on. The Queen did not. On the day the bells rang again, Seraphel thought she was dreaming. The sound carried through the spire, low, resonant, ancient. Servants froze. Advisors stared at one another in disbelief. And far below, in the docking ring reserved for foreign emissaries, a single human ship settled onto the platform. Its hull was scarred, its systems outdated. It did not belong. Captain Elias Vorn stood at the base of the spire, clutching a data cylinder with trembling hands. He had not planned to come here. In truth, he had tried very hard not to. But some discoveries did not allow silence. Elias was a salvager, a drifter between systems that no one else bothered to map. 12 years earlier, his crew had recovered a life pod from inside a gravity anomaly near the Reach. Inside was a being of light, her form unstable, her memory fractured. She did not know her name, only that she had fallen and that she was very far from home. They called her Lie. Keeping her alive had been difficult. Luminary physiology required stellar radiation and harmonic energy fields humans barely understood. Elias sold his ship piece by piece to afford the tech. When Lie stabilized, she began to remember things. Music encoded in light, cities that floated, a mother whose presence felt like gravity itself. When she remembered the word queen, Elias knew he could no longer pretend this was just another rescue. The court chamber fell silent as Lie stepped forward, her form now fully restored. Light cascaded from her like a living constellation. She was taller than Elias remembered, stronger, radiant in a way that bent perception itself. Queen Seraphel rose slowly from her throne. For a moment, time fractured. The Queen's light surged, then faltered. Her voice, when it came, was barely more than a whisper. Lyra? The princess faltered too, memories crashing into her all at once, the Reach tearing her ship apart, centuries of drifting, years aboard a human vessel, laughter in cramped quarters, fear, kindness, resilience. She crossed the chamber in 3 strides and knelt. "Mother," she said, her light trembling. "I'm home." The Queen descended the steps, each one heavy with disbelief. She reached out, her hand hovering inches from Lyra's face, afraid the illusion would shatter. When she touched her daughter, the bells rang again, louder, brighter, echoing across the capital. Seraphel collapsed, pulling Lyra into an embrace that sent waves of light rippling through the chamber. Advisors wept openly. Guards turned away, pretending not to see. Only Elias stood apart, suddenly unsure of his place. The reunion did not erase the years between them. In the days that followed, Lyra learned how the Empire had changed, how isolationist policies hardened borders, how fear of loss had turned the Queen inward. Seraphel, in turn, learned of humanity, of fragility and stubborn hope, of a species that survived not because it was strong, but because it refused to give up on the broken. Elias was summoned to the throne on the 7th day. "You brought her back," Seraphel said, studying him with eyes older than stars. "You could have sold her, weaponized her, hidden her." "I tried to let her go once," Elias admitted. "She didn't want to." Lyra stepped beside him. "He saved me, over and over again." The Queen inclined her head. "Then you are owed more than gratitude." She offered Elias a place in the Empire, resources beyond measure. He declined. "I belong out there," he said, gesturing to the stars. "But I'll come back, if you'll let me." Seraphel smiled, a real smile, the kind the court had not seen in decades. "You will always be welcome." On the final night before Elias departed, Lyra joined him on the docking platform. "You could stay," she said quietly. "So could you leave," he replied. She laughed, light dancing around her. "I already did. I came back because I chose to." They stood in silence, watching the stars. As Elias's ship lifted off, the Queen activated the bells one last time, not for mourning, but for remembrance. The Empire would not forget what had been lost, nor would it forget what a single human had returned. Far beyond the spire, as Elias set course for the unknown, a new signal echoed through space, a harmonic beacon, co-designed by human and luminary science. It was a promise. No one would ever be lost so completely again. And for the first time since her daughter vanished, Queen Seraphel watched the stars not with grief, but with hope.